gentlemen, is just what I thought. A hook shot at 12. Good! The Lakers take the lead on Magic Johnson's running sky hook.
And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to your favorite day of the week. I am Anthony Irwin, joined on this fine Friday afternoon, my time, late morning, his time, by Aaron Larsuel. He of the original Hook. He was my original Hook co-host that we used to do this every week. It used to be a thing that we always used to do. And then he got really busy and I started taking content in a different direction that we needed to kind of calm things down a little bit. Now here we are. Aaron, how you holding up, bud?
Better than I deserve. Let's get it. Happy to be back.
I truly am. Now, I was getting asked about this. I probably get asked about it like 6-7 times a month. I'm not kidding.
Still?
You know, and you would think at some point it would dissipate. But no, people liked our combination, liked us talking shit, liked it was always a really fun combination. And now we are back here at least this one time and hopefully more moving forward.
I get asked, or somebody will come up to me at a game every once in a while, and they'll just walk up to me and just say Hennessy is delicious and walk on. So,
See?
So yeah, even that caught on, I guess.
If we can give any one thing, or if we could have given any one thing to society and humanity, that phrase is I'm fine with that being the thing.
Well, I don't know if you have alcohol sponsorship on the platform here, but if Hennessy sponsors your show, I will come back permanently. How about that? Do the right thing, Hennessy.
I think that was LeBron.
Didn't we do unnamed cognac? We until they
until they actually fit the bill. They are still unnamed cognac
until a couple dollars hit your pockets.
Yeah. So today on the show, the Lakers will play their 10th game of the season tomorrow, and that usually, like, teams kind of analyze their season in 10-game increments, and I'm taking that opportunity to do so now, even though the Lakers, I think, have played more games than just about everybody in the league. They and the Warriors have really front loaded the Lakers and Warriors.
Both have played 9, yeah.
Yeah, they've really front loaded the Lakers and Warriors schedules early on. And cynical me points to the ratings being up as perhaps why they would do such a thing. But I do think, though, that, like, the 10-game mark here for the Lakers, and as more teams approach that 10-game mark, we also are in they're getting ready to play another weekend of NBA Cup games.
Yeah, tonight,
weekend of that. So I would say it's a good time to kind of take stock of at least the Western Conference. The East is such dog shit that I don't really want to talk about them. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about the West.
The Cavs are decent. The Knicks are decent. Milwaukee looks a little better than I thought. That's about the extent of it.
Yeah, we got it covered.
That's about the extent of it. Yep.
Orlando kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Miami kind of sucks.
Detroit's in.
Chicago's surprising.
Chicago. There you go. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
All right.
The strangest defensive profile I've ever seen, by the way.
You know what I want? I want some sponsor to come in and like sponsor me talking about the East for 3 seconds.
You got to do. Actually, I haven't seen since they came from TNT. I've seen a little bit of ESPN on the Inside the NBA. Do they still do EJ Saturday Night sponsored by no one?
Nobody. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't watched a single episode of Inside the NBA.
Okay. Maybe the chat will tell us if they still. I don't know if they.
My thing is,
the reason I'm saying is because you could do your 3 seconds of Eastern Conference talk unsullied by sponsorship since whenever, just as EJ does.
It's true. That's true. Part of it is that like it's just not really my kind of content. I don't like watching people who don't watch basketball talk about basketball. And then the other part of it too is that like on games that I would be watching that kind of a deal, like I usually have work to do right after those games end. So while they're on the air, I tend to be on the air as well. All right. So today on the show, though, like I said, we're going to be talking about the West title tiers now, given some data to start the season. Who's moved, who's done what, bigger surprises on the negative side, bigger surprises on the positive side, the Lakers being one of them. And that'll give us an opportunity to also talk about the Lakers within the construct of this entire brutal Western Conference. Which is funny because like some teams don't look as good as I thought they would. You know, like Minnesota have been kind of meh. Clippers have been kind of meh. Warriors a little whatever. But all that they're replaced by is like the Spurs, whose defense is swarming, and the Blazers, whose defense is also swarming. So it's like, okay, cool, yeah, all right. Oh man, all right. I guess it's just good, tough in a different way. So let's go ahead and dive on in.
All right.
The way that I did mine, and you tell me how you did yours. I wanted each tier to have at least 2 teams.
Wait, isn't that antithetical to tiers? Like the tiers are to separate, right? So if you force 2 teams in a tier, then that doesn't really speak to the separation possibility.
Well, that was the thing though, is that like I found out I didn't have to force anything, which was kind of nice. It broke down pretty well for me. I also kind of wanted to limit the number of tiers that I have because eventually it just becomes a list.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I did mine. And I'll start with my top tier, my bona fide title contender tier.
Okay.
Upper level. The upper room, if you would like to say it that way. The OKC Thunder and Denver Nuggets. They reside in the penthouse for me. I'll start there. I won't say anything about them. Would you agree with that as the upper tier?
So I agree with that. I'm not forcing any number of teams into a tier because I think it's meaningful to have as many teams fit in a tier as fit in a tier. But yes, I agree that is the top tier. I actually, if you forced me to pick a title favorite right now, I would say Denver. I think Denver is better than OKC. So I'm fine with that as the top tier. Yeah.
It's funny because Cam Johnson really hasn't even been that good, but they still have the best half court offense in the sport.
Yes.
That's terrifying.
I mean, I don't find it that surprising.
No, I know, but that's terrifying.
They have the second best offensive player of all time in his prime. So like that's not that surprising to me, actually.
So you have it LeBron, then Jokic?
LeBron is quite clearly the best player of all time, but no, I do not have LeBron as the best offensive player of all time.
Unbelievable. It's crazy how like you just willingly walk into being wrong about stuff.
LeBron is quite clearly the best player ever.
So my thing with OKC and Denver is that Denver is offensively what OKC is defensively. And, you know, that those are the 2 teams that like, you know, for me, when I look at title contention and playoff worthiness, what's your best pitch? You know, like, well,
where's your fastball? Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, can you, if you absolutely like, to me, the series that Yoshinobu Yamamoto had against Toronto was defined by his fastball.
What sport is that?
Baseball. It was this really cool thing. There's plenty of room on the Dodgers bandwagon. They're about to sign another.
Absolutely not. I went I was at the Lakers game. What is today? On Wednesday, I went to the game and it was Dodgers, yay Dodgers Day. And I had the, took some pictures with the trophy, went by the trophy and said hi to a couple of the guys, but no, we're not doing, no, I am not. I refuse. It was the World Series was compelling though. I watched all of the World Series.
That's the best World Series ever.
It was quite compelling, but no, I'm not going to be a Dodgers fan. No.
Mookie at that game was not touching the ground is how well.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Did you see him? when Marcus got the sixth foul on Wemby, and he was Mookie was reffing. Yeah.
Mookie's, I think he might still be sitting in that seat. Like
Mookie was, but the hand behind the head and everything. Yep.
I saw that, and I was like, man,
I thought he was going to call it. What was
that dude?
What's is it Liam Neeson? No, who is? Oh, he's in the new one. It's Frank Drebin. What's in what is that old movie that OJ's in?
Naked Gun?
Cop. Yeah, Naked Gun. Yeah. I thought he was going to start calling it like Frank Drebin when he pretends to be the ump, and it's just like doing all kinds of dances. I thought Mookie was going to.
Yeah, that was I love my favorite part of that movie when I go back and rewatch it is how they do OJ, like all of the ways that they
Oh yeah, he just like gets
if
beat
anybody
up,
deserved to have what happened to them in a movie.
Yeah.
That guy. All right, so yeah, OKC's fastball hit they're like, 98 mile an hour. Nowadays everybody's throwing 101 mile an hour fastball is that defense. It is terrifying. It is suffocating. Seems like every other day they find some new 23-year-old who just steps in and just fits their system perfectly. So they to me, I think they're the most impressive organization in the NBA, going from front office to coaching to players, like easily, like they are kind of the class of the league in that regard. But Jokic is the best player in the world. And he is now, I think Luka is making a real case for it. I think Luka's doing some cool stuff that might put him into that category of player. But
I mean, I think Luka has had the best season thus far. But that's not quite enough to make him the best player in the world. Although he's in the well, actually,
if he keeps it up.
Well, hold on. Actually, he may not have, because Giannis has been an absolute terror. And he's guarding again too, which is terrifying.
Kuz also playing well there in Milwaukee.
Recently.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this season he was not.
No. I mean, he didn't start this season well either, but recently he's been playing well. Yeah.
So yeah, I would say in Denver, like their half court offense and their additions that they made over the summer, like they just fit so freaking perfectly. And I had Adam Modis on the show heading into the season. And the way that I kind of described Denver, and he agreed, was that if they had this roster in last postseason, they would have beaten OKC in that series. It already.
How about the last two posts? I mean, I think they would have beat OKC. I mean, who did they lose to? Did they lose to? Oh yeah, Minnesota. They lost to Minnesota. Yeah, they lost to Minnesota. They would have beaten Minnesota and beaten the Celtics, in my opinion.
Yeah. All they needed to do is fire Calvin Booth, turns out. And shouts to them for waiting 2 seasons too long. My next tier here, and this is where I have the Lakers, is...
let me say one more thing about that. The reason I have Denver ahead of OKC is because offense is just more important than defense. It's more valuable. It's more important. It leads to winning more. I know KD's been at everybody's neck about that on Twitter, but offense is just more important than defense. So Denver's offense is terrifying. Cam Johnson hasn't been any good yet. If they get him going, like, Denver's pretty terrifying.
Jamal Murray, turns out when you're in shape at the beginning of the season, your team gets better.
And you know what the best part about it is? He's still not going to be an all-star. Yeah. Austin's going to take his spot this year. He's still not going to be an all-star.
I can't wait for the first fan vote and how angry people are going to get at Austin getting like top 5 votes.
I mean, going into what was it? Going into, I don't think it was Wednesday's game, whatever the game before that was, Monday maybe. There was a stat that they showed. It was on a national broadcast that Austin was second in the NBA in points and assists in total, like not averages, in total. He had the second most points and the second most assists in the NBA. It was a couple games ago, but
I mean, they front loaded the Lakers schedule, and Austin is the only Laker who has played in all or had played in all of those games, right? So
yes,
it would kind of make sense. And he's also put up, great averages and stuff too. But Yeah, so I am in the second tier. I have the Lakers, Rockets, and Timberwolves. You could convince me about putting Houston above the Lakers. I would not put
Yeah.
Minnesota above the Lakers.
I would not put Minnesota in the same tier as the Lakers. I would put Houston in its own tier second. Its own tier, the second tier. I would put Houston by itself,
Okay.
and then I would put the Lakers at the top of the next tier.
Then that's just a list because that. So would you?
I think there's a separation so far. I think there's a separation between Houston and the Lakers. Now, when LeBron comes back, let's see what it all looks like. I think it is certainly reasonable that the Lakers, in the middle of the season, at the end of the season, are ahead of Houston as far as who I think has the best chance to win the title. But yeah, I need to see what it looks like with LeBron.
So you based on that response, it doesn't seem like you're in the category of people who are wondering if LeBron coming back is a bad thing.
He was second team All NBA last year. And he's the smartest player. What are you talking about? He's the smartest player in the history of Earth. He's the best player in the history of Earth, and was second team All NBA last year. Why would you not want to bring a completely malleable superstar back to a team? What are those people talking about? And the trade. Hey, is it time to trade LeBron? Absolute nonsense.
It's craziness. Well, because the other thing too is that all right, so the people who are saying trade LeBron, they seem to ignore that he has a no trade clause, and he would turn down any trade that puts him in a worse spot that he's in right now.
Okay, and find another team that is going to give up $50 million worth of stuff to get him for possibly
rental
a few months. What? It's silliness.
Dallas might, because they need to blow it up anyway. But no, I wanted to pick up on that point with LeBron, and you are obviously much closer to the team than I am on a daily basis. And I had some people angry at me because I noticed in that first game that LeBron didn't move off of his seat, didn't interact with anybody, did that all of preseason, and that was basically how he was, and he didn't send a single tweet talking about the additions that the Lakers made over the offseason. He didn't do any of that stuff.
Body language expert Anthony is still around in my time.
He's never going anywhere.
Still around. All right.
It's good content.
Yeah.
But I would also say, though, if I'm going to overanalyze that stuff, I'm going to overanalyze what he's been doing lately, where he has been very engaged on the sideline. He's been participating in some of the huddles. He's been talking to guys when they come to the sideline. He's up and he's cheering and he's doing that stuff. And look, like you always like to point out, there are plenty of explanations that could explain what else might have been going on there. His back might have been hurting him. It makes it, as he's felt better and getting closer to his return, he's more comfortable getting up off of his seat. There could be any number of explanations, but to me, I also think, we can't ignore he wasn't all that thrilled over the offseason about the lack of extension talks. And you could say Hennessy is delicious here if you'd like, but the lack of extension discussions between the Lakers and him and Clutch for over the summer, that didn't sit very well with him. And then he extends that into this upcoming season with not being available and then not being available on the sidelines either, it felt like. And then now the team looks good. You had the report also, by the way, of Shams saying that he's going to closely monitor this situation and see what his future might be after that. That stuff doesn't come out of nowhere either. So, but I do think, though, that the Lakers got off to a really good start, right? They're 7-2. I would have them in the same grouping with Houston because we know that we're getting LeBron back at some point. I do think that these are two different situations or an evolving situation. And now he kind of looks around. He's like, this team might be pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Lakers are good. More than just pretty good. I think the Lakers are good. And I think it's fair. What you're saying is fair. You can, there's certainly, you can make an argument that, thank you, Kyle. Love you too. I think it's fair to, to read that and think maybe LeBron is looking at, wow, this team is pretty good without me, and I do have a chance here in getting more involved. I wouldn't say, though, I think the part of the premise is a little off with, him being upset about, the extension talks or lack thereof, possibly. I think it had more to do with LeBron coming to the realization and Clutch coming to the realization that for the first time in LeBron's career, he doesn't get to pull all the strings. And I think it was more of a sort of petulant like reaction to how that felt, more so than a disappointment or dissatisfaction with the team. I think LeBron knew that the team was going to be pretty good, and was happy about. I know he was happy about the moves that were happening over the summer. So I think it was just kind of like a sort of weird emotional reaction to like, wait, my worldview, that like how I've operated my world for the last whatever 20, well, really like 25 or so years is not I am in complete command of. I think it was kind of just more of a reaction to that did not go particularly well because it didn't do anything and he didn't have any options. What was he going to do?
Well, that's what
I'm going to monitor the situation. Okay, monitor it. Like, and do what? Go ahead, man.
I did have a little bit of fun. Harrison and I had a little bit of fun over the phrasing. It was like LeBron is going to monitor the situation. Like, What is he going to do otherwise? Is he going to face the wrong way during games? Like, what?
Yeah, I monitor the situation too. Like, okay, all right, man.
I don't know.
But I will say this. I
feel like you monitor other situations at the games while you're there.
I monitor all things. But I mean, like, I guess the point of all of this, even if you're correct, and I think like you're partially correct. I don't know that you're correct. I think it's a fair read on it. Even so, like, okay, if it took a little bit for LeBron to like get fully emotionally invested in this, and now he is, like,
that's all that matters.
Like, okay,
right.
All right, man.
Yeah, no, like that was part of my thing was, coming into the season. And that's why I got a little frustrated with like the way that training camp was handled and preseason games were handled. Was like the Lakers have to get off to a really good start. So, and one of the reasons for it was so that LeBron could be emotionally invested when the time comes that he returns. And so that you can keep the Ruiz of the world and Aytons and Smarts of the world, who are all on these expiring contracts, invested into the larger team-wide goal here. And I do kind of think that like free agents and players and agents are starting to kind of come to grips with and recognize that the best way to get paid in the NBA is to help teams win. You still have outliers. You have the Jonathan Kuminga situation over the summer, and you have some of these other guys who think that their best chance at getting paid is still to just go out there and get buckets. But I still believe, or I'm starting to think that the rest of the league is starting to get, okay, buy into the team concept, be involved with a winner, be important to a winning situation. And whether it's staying in that organization and getting paid that way, or having another team take notice of the way that you are impacting winning there, that's the best way to get paid. And I think all of these Lakers, by way of winning, are all kind of bought into that, because Lakers have a shit ton of cap space after this season. And why not keep the group together if that's a possibility?
So I think that is astute. And one of the reasons for that is because guys generally get paid off of the playoffs, right? If you have a good season and then you continue that during the playoffs. That's why this year has been so important for Austin, because he was not particularly good in the playoffs last year. And, obviously being in a winning situation, you get to show more and more and more what you can do in the playoffs. And that obviously turns some heads. But the other part of it is that is especially true in a handful of places. There is like a little extra shine you get from a handful of places in the NBA, the Lakers being the top of that list. Yeah.
The Warriors, I think, also like
Warriors. It was more true for the Warriors like 3-4 years ago when they were a dynasty. There was kind of the little Warrior shine for coaches and players to go elsewhere. That is always true of the Lakers, even when the Lakers aren't particularly good. But
I mentioned the Warriors because, like, the Kuminga was it was the most anybody has ever covered a mid player ever.
Although to be fair to JK, he has been damn good this year.
Well, that's the thing though, is that like if what he could have done is take the qualifying offer, play this way, and his market would have been insane. But like I'm also fine with him taking the deal that he took, getting paid a good and fair amount, continuing to play like this, and then when it comes time for his next contract, Golden State's going to take care of
but
him.
here's why you don't do that. Jonathan,
You
I
get
mean,
hurt.
in NBA terms, Jonathan Kuminga has never made any money, right? He's never made any money in NBA terms. Obviously, he's going to be just fine and has made a bunch of money compared to the rest of the world. But two reasons: what if he gets hurt? You better lock in that money. I'm confused why he didn't take the 2+1, but whatever. We'll put that aside for now. You take that money, you're still betting on yourself. The other part of it is if he takes $8 million and has a implied no trade apply. This is the first time I'm talking. I haven't podcasted in a minute. Hold on, let me take a sip of something and I can collect myself. He would have an implied no trade clause in his contract had he signed the qualifying offer, which was also 8 or 9 million. The Warriors have no incentive to play him at all because they can't trade him for anything. So why not? In this case, at least, the Warriors have incentive to play him and try to make him look great as he has to increase his trade value. Plus, they can trade him for a lot more. So, but yes, the Warriors are another one of those teams where just being there puts a little extra shine on you. But the Lakers are at the top of that list.
So I'm curious why you have Houston above the Lakers to the extent of having them in a completely different tier. I could see having, personally, I could see having Houston in the same tier as the Lakers, but higher up in that tier than the Lakers are. I don't know that they're so good that I would have them in a completely different tier.
So the answer to that question, as I have to plug my computer in before we stop, before this podcast shuts down. The answer to that question is because I had Houston ahead to begin with. And there hasn't been enough yet. The Lakers have looked excellent so far, but Houston's been damn good too. So there hasn't been enough yet to take me off of that stance. And Houston's offense is diabolical. Houston's offense is a monster. And they've fared reasonably well without. There's been some clunky moments, but they fared reasonably well without a point guard. With Amen Thompson kind of as their point. Not kind of, he is their point guard. So it doesn't. Which is why I said earlier that I think it's very possible that the Lakers, a month from now, 4 months from now, I could have the Lakers ahead of the Rockets. But because I had the Rockets ahead going in, there hasn't been enough yet to move me off of that. And as I said earlier, I want to see what this looks like with LeBron.
The reason, or the top reason I'm open to this being a conversation here between the Lakers and Rockets comes down to the point differential. That point differential is always a stat, and it's highly manipulated early on in a season, but 10-ish games in, Rockets have the best point differential in the sport.
Yeah, their offense is a monster, and their defense was incredible last year. Really their defense is good. Yeah.
And so if based on point differential alone, you wanted to lump Houston up with OKC and Denver, I honestly would be open to that conversation. Especially now that player isn't on, or this player isn't on their roster right now, but I do think eventually they'll add a point guard.
They can't.
Well, yeah, they can.
I mean, they can't. They can't just be right. They have to trade for one, but they are going to have to give up stuff.
But I think some team would buy low on Reed Shepherd and
they're not trading.
Extend over a mediocre point guard.
They're not trading Reed Shepherd for a mediocre point guard.
I think Ime Udoka might hate that dude on a personal level.
Yeah, I mean maybe, but they just drafted him third 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
Maybe. Are you saying Ime Udoka would not want to coach the exciting Whites Lakers lineup? Is that what you're saying?
No, because I think the exciting Whites guys on the Lakers team defend. I don't think Shepherd defends, and Ime.
Wait, what?
I think if you watch Austin, he at least competes defensively.
Austin tries. Yeah, I'll give you that. He tries.
Reed doesn't try.
Yeah. Okay. Neither does Luka. Neither does Dalton.
Well, Dalton, I don't think is going to be a Laker by the end of the year. And then, he's not lumped into the exciting Whites.
Actually, that's not fair to Luka. Luka tries.
Yeah, Luka's been
Luka
fine
tries.
defensively this
Luka
year.
tries most of the time when he gets back because he didn't like complain about a call. Yeah, Luka tries.
And look, I don't have Dalton lumped in with the tres leches. Like that's not.
No, I haven't heard that one.
I'm not doing that. Like
that's funny.
Somebody, I guess
Jake
it's
guards,
a
Jake guards.
carryover from.
Let me be clear. Jake guards. I didn't mention that. Jake.
Yeah,
Jake guards,
yeah. So like those guys.
Tres leches is hilarious.
If those
when
guys
is Maxi?
were on,
I need Maxi Kleber. I got to check in and see when Maxi's going to be. I think the full whitewash is coming. Just the 5 white guys on the floor. The full whitewash is coming. I actually haven't checked in on that in a minute. I need to see how Maxi.
He's been questionable the last couple of games,
which is why I'm saying I haven't. Yeah, which is I need.
He lives questionabably, is what I'll say.
He does not live questionably.
He's going to be questionable every game.
Yeah. You see him on the question. He's questionable on the injury report a lot.
I guess I do have to be careful. He lives questionably. Like he's not like James Harden in starting 5. Like he's
Maxi's good people. Maxi's the best. He's good people.
No, but I think though that like if any of the Lakers 3 white dudes, exciting whites guys, were on Houston's team, Ime would like not actively look for reasons not to play those guys in the same way he does with Reed Shepherd. Like you could see every time he puts Reed Shepherd into the game, it kills him a little bit. Just a little bit.
He just dies inside.
He's like he loses, like he chops off like 2 days of his long-term lifetime. But like Houston, the other thing with Houston is like we talked about fastballs and identities with OKC and Denver. Houston's fastball being, we are just going to be bigger than you and beat the ever-living piss out of you. That's a solid fastball to throw in the postseason. So I'd be fine if somebody, made the argument that Houston should be lumped into the OKC Denver group. Just like I would be fine if somebody wanted to make that argument for the Lakers' sake too, with the aspect being taken for granted that LeBron's going to make this better, right? Like if the Lakers already look this good and we accept that LeBron is going to make this better, then they could belong in that grouping with OKC and Denver. Again, at the lower end of the tier, but in that tier potentially as well.
I think the biggest silver lining of the LeBron absence has been what it's done for Ayton and Rui. It's let them both like kind of get entrenched and get confidence in their roles, without having to say kind of look for LeBron and take more of a backseat role in the offense. I think it's been good for both of them to kind of get entrenched and really look good, and then hopefully when LeBron comes back, it'll just kind of pick up.
I love when Rui shoots from the mid-range, how the bench is already clapping. That's, how good you have to be as a shooter for like your bench to anywhere on the court, right? That's like Steph does it from 3-point range, but like from Rui, Rui to take off the dribble, step back, contested mid-range jumpers, and be so automatic. He took one the other day, and it was against San Antonio, and it was funny because they replayed it also, so more people kind of saw it. Mm-hmm. But I saw it live, and I looked at the bench because it was on the Lakers side of the court, and LeBron, like Rui had barely gone into the motion of shooting. Like Rui just got to the free throw line, and LeBron's like,
it's good. Yeah, it's good
shot. That was crazy. That's incredible. That I really think Rui has become pretty underrated because he's the guy that can technically be traded, or the most likely rotation player who be traded for the wing upgrade or something like that. But I
need Rui to get like 5-6 rebounds a night, but other than that, yes, I agree he's underrated.
Rui saying at the end of last season that the Lakers need to get somebody in there to rebound, and it's like, Rui, you are 6'8", 250 pounds, with giant wide shoulders and huge mitts for hands. You are built in a laboratory to be a good rebounder. What the fuck are you talking about?
Pretty good athlete too. Pretty good athlete.
But yeah, I would say though, like, I guess this is the opportunity for us to talk about the season that the Lakers have had so far. And I would ask you, what do you think their 100-mile-an-hour fastball would be? What do you think their identity will eventually be?
I don't know that we know yet, because like LeBron necessarily is going to change that. So I don't really know yet what it's going to be. How about this? I'm very confident that this is going to be somewhere between a very good and elite offense that I'm pretty sure of. And I have some concerns about the shooting, but I think that the Lakers, because they have Austin in the moments that matter, will have Austin, Luka, and LeBron on the floor all the time. That between those three, you're gonna get a good look. And,
Yeah,
it may
and
not
Ayton
come.
for that
It may
matter.
not come from that. No, I mean it may not come from the three of them. Will generate a good look. It may not
Yeah.
come from them, but so the offensive efficiency should be top whatever in the league, top 5 in the league. So I think that's going to be something to lean on. How the Lakers will get to that, I think, is kind of an open question until we see, because we didn't see a ton of cohesion's not the right word, but I think there were still some kinks to work out with the three of them last season, and we haven't seen it at all this season. So, and frankly, like Luka was not healthy or in good shape at all last year. So we didn't have this version of Luka last year. So I think it's kind of an open question of how it's going to all fit together, but I'm pretty confident that between those three, they'll have a good offense will be built from that. So I think it's going to be on the offensive end. The Lakers don't have the personnel to be more than good, okay to good on defense. Like Luka's not a good defensive player. Austin's okay. He's not, LeBron can be.
Yeah, guys who we're hoping try.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's like this thing around the league where people that are worried about the Lakers or people that don't want the Lakers to win, the thing they point to is you cannot build a competent playoff defense around Austin and Luka on the perimeter. Now, there's some things you can do with that, Luka guarding bigger guys and put somebody else in, whether that's Vando or Marcus Smart or something to help out on the perimeter. But I think that is the kind of open question is the Lakers formula is to be, whatever, top 3 or top 5 in offense and 14th in defense or 16th in defense, something like that.
I think they would have, if they're going to be like in that mediocre 13 to 16 or, whatever range, if they're going to be there, they have to be top 3 offense.
Yeah, I mean, that's the formula. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, and while you were talking, I was trying to find what I would think their fastball would be, or the pitch that they would throw most often, at least offensively. It's their pick and roll.
Yeah.
And their pick and roll, I think they might go down if LeBron buys in and Luka buys in and Austin buys in and Ayton continues to buy in the way that he has so far this year. The Lakers might be the best pick and roll team of all time. I
mean, I think they probably have 3 of the top 10 or 15 pick and roll guys in the league right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so far this season, I saw Darius tweeted this out. The stat that he's tweeted out is in terms of points per possession, Luka's number 1 in the league in running pick and roll. Austin is number 2 in the league. And then in terms of screen setters, Ayton is in the top 5 as well.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I think, like we talked about LeBron being this microprocessor, of the nth degree, he's looking at this, and I think he's getting ready to set a bunch of screens too. And if you get LeBron operating in the short roll off of an Austin pick and roll with Luka on the weak side, keeping the defense honest there, I sincerely have no idea what the defense can do there.
You lose.
That's what the
defense says. You lose.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's I mean, you'd like to have one more shooter.
Yeah.
In the other corner opposite Luka, or you could do it with Luka and LeBron.
But I think that can be Rui. That can be Jake.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is you'd like, just a knockdown guy who that's what they do.
That's what made
not Clay anymore.
So ridiculous, right? Was
Clay, you lose, right? It's Steph, and you have to send 2 at Steph, and he flips it to Draymond, one of the best big man passers ever, and you have Clay on one side and Kevin Durant on the other. What do? You lose.
Yeah,
you give up.
A lot of teams did.
Yeah, you lose.
You know,
That's what
especially when or if it was KD, right? Like it was Clay and KD on the court there. It was just like,
well, the point of it is none of it matter. Like you have those guys that doesn't matter. Right?
Yeah.
Like every combination of that works. But
yeah,
I think that is I agree that the high pick and roll is going to be kind of and what's funny is a lot of the NBA is kind of getting away from that some. But I think the Lakers personnel for that specifically can be so devastating that, because Ayton, for whatever his flaws are, when he is engaged, him as a roller is also, he has a catch radius of everything, right? And, is going to try to dunk everything. He's okay he's competent enough as a short roll passer that he's not just going to and his hands are good enough. He's not just going to fumble the ball all over the place. So the Lakers personnel for that is pretty devastating.
And I think they have the assets to get even better in some of those things. They can at some point pick up the shooter. They can at some point pick up, a better backup than Jackson. They can do all of these things that will eventually make them.
No, Jackson was great the other night.
Yeah,
Jackson was.
But that's the thing with him, though, right? Like, I don't know. I want my backup center to be more consistent. Like Jackson nets out to an average to above average backup center, but there's such that the spectrum there is so wide that he's capable of grade A play, but he's also capable of grade F play, and those grade F minutes, if they ever coincide with Ayton either being injured or in foul trouble or anything like that, let alone in the postseason, the Lakers they are playing from such a deficit in size that they just lose that game. And I would like a steadier center than Jackson.
So I think that's reasonable. I think it's also, there's somewhat of a blessing and curse aspect to this where offensively, not defensively, but offensively, Jackson's game is pretty similar to DeAndre. Jackson's not as good at it, but it's aside from the pick and pop stuff that, although Jackson hit a 3 the other night, so who knows? And that can be a good thing. Like if DeAndre,
I'll just go ahead and say that the bench didn't respond to Jackson taking that 3 in the same way that they react when Rui shoots the mid range.
Yeah. So
everybody on the bench was like, "Oh."
That's a basket that that's the side that I sit on, and I saw him shoot. I was like, wait, what? And it was just cat. It was like, okay, all right, sure, I guess. So that can be a blessing, right? If say if DeAndre has to miss a game, or he missed a couple, you can kind of do the same stuff. But then there's also the idea that maybe you would as you called it, a different pitch, right? Maybe, Maxey can shoot it. Maybe you want somebody kind of a different option there. So maybe it's, it's a little of column A and a little column B.
Yeah. And the other thing too, in adding another big of Jackson's ilk in terms of quality or caliber is that ideally, the Lakers would add Christian Wood from 5 years ago. That kind of a player, not from the last year. but that, I don't know if that player really exists right now. So it's something that they're going to be looking for over the course of the year. Let's talk the next tier down for me. I have the Clippers, and we have a super comment that is pertinent to our conversation that allows me to play this right off the top. And it's Mockman saying, jumping in late, so glad to see Aaron, love you too. Thanks, man. Kadeem also said, got on my lunch to see the triumphant return of the man, the myth, Aaron and Anthony back again. This is a good combo. These are some of my favorite podcasts to record, and I'm glad that y'all
thank
love
you, Kadeem, and that Mockman, thank you.
All right, so I have in my third tier, and this is my old teams,
my old guys.
Yeah,
tier?
The unks, as the internet likes to call them, the Clippers and the Warriors, and so my concern, I knew that people did it again with the Clippers. People got all it's so stupid. We do this every year, but so the Clippers, I never took them seriously at all. Now, the team that I did start to take a little seriously was the Warriors, but even with
Mhm.
them, I had my concerns with them was like they're really small. Losing Looney and replacing him with Horford. Now, Horford is a better overall player. He's not very big. And like you have Post, who's big. He's a bigger dude, but he's not like intimidating big.
No, I mean Post is enormous, but
Yeah.
and he can shoot. He can shoot it, but I mean his hands are so bad that like he doesn't
He's
rebound.
so slow.
He's slow. He fouls too much. Like yeah. I mean, there'll be games where he makes 4 or 5 threes, which fine, great. It gives everybody else room, but
Yeah.
yeah. And Horford is just, and maybe it's him like getting into shape, etc. But Horford's just been plainly awful. Like he might be done. I don't. He looks cooked.
What is he?
It may be him ramping up and whatever. All of this for the Warriors and for the Clippers to a certain extent has been like, can you get all these guys healthy to the playoffs and let's see. The Clippers just aren't very good.
Well, I want to talk about the Clippers in a second, but the Warriors.
Sorry, we'll stay with the Warriors. I think the Warriors. So the Warriors have had a really odd start to the season. So I had Denver and OKC in one tier, the Rockets in the next tier, and I have only the Lakers and the Warriors in the what I guess is that the third tier. The Clippers are down for me. Minnesota's a mess. They're down for me. And here's why with the Warriors.
Steph.
Yeah, I mean 30. Right, yeah, I mean 30. Through 30, all things.
Steph. No, I understand.
Through 30, all things are
really
possible.
Fucking good, but
through 30, all things are possible. No, I think it's that the Warriors have had like a very strange season. They have played more games than anybody. They have already played a bunch of back-to-backs. They're going to start the season. Their first 16 games, I think there's 8 of them are back-to-backs, and like 11 of them are going to be on the road. It's very strange. Steph has been sick the last couple of games. I don't know. It's been very strange. Horford has looked just cooked.
Microwave,
but
like leftover steak that you put in the microwave cooked. Yeah.
But Kuminga has been excellent. Moody has been pretty good. And you were talking about like what's your fastball? The Warriors fastball, like the Warriors, like the Lakers have two, the Lakers have 2 losses, right? One of them, the Warriors smoked them in LA. Denver has 2 losses. The Warriors kicked their ass. And so then the Warriors have these weird losses at Milwaukee without Giannis, at the Pacers with nobody. They also lost in Portland, which like Portland is, okay, right? Portland's but they have these strange losses. So it's kind of the Warriors season has been very up and down. The schedule has been brutal. So I don't have a great handle on them, but I thought they were going to be good. And so it's kind of like the priors have still, like with Houston, the priors are still kind of anchoring me to it. I thought Horford would be better. I've not liked what I've seen from Horford. GP2 looks kind of, but 30. And when 30 is there, through 30, all things are possible.
So
it's been very strange though.
My like elevator pitch analysis on Golden State is
and
that
I'm getting more Hennessy. I'm listening, but I'm getting more Hennessy. Yep. So if you don't see me on camera, it's because I'm getting Hennessy.
What concerned me about Golden State was that they're small, or they entered the season and their roster was really small. And I never really took into account that they might be old and small seems like a really bad combination. Like being old and also like, teams can win the possession battle against you. Now, the way that you overcome the possession battle is by winning the math, and the best way in the history of the sport to win the math has been Steph. So maybe that's like the thing that offsets my concern.
That's part of it. Yeah. The other way, yeah, I mean, they're going to get, they got killed on the glass by Houston in the series last year when they were playing Şengün and Steven Adams together.
Mm-hmm.
So the Warriors are small, but once they got Jimmy Butler, the magic of Jimmy Butler was they stopped turning the ball over all the time. Mm-hmm. The Warriors used to turn the ball over all the time, and they weren't generating enough. So yes, they're going to lose on the rebound thing, but theoretically they'll win the turnover battle, which they have not really been this year, but that's like, that is the antidote to them losing, on the glass, theoretically.
And we'll see what Melton looks like when he comes back. It just makes me nervous. Like, I feel like the way that we're kind of talking about the Warriors is like, and Melton is better and in a different state of his career than Ariza was, but like the way that the Lakers back then in the Melo, LeBron, Dwight year was like, can't judge this team until Trevor Ariza comes back.
There you go. There you go, Harrison. There you go.
Can't judge this team. And it was like, actually, if you're waiting for Trevor Ariza, I think we can aptly judge this team. Yeah, and I think I like Melton. I think he's a good basketball player. I was hoping that the Lakers would be able to get him this last offseason.
He's always hurt.
But if you're waiting for DeAnthony Melton to judge your team, that right there is the judgment.
So the Warriors are, I think, have had a very strange season.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
And part of it is like, yeah, with them and the Clippers, but I think even more so the Warriors, because I think the Clippers' depth has positioned them better and we'll get to them in a second, has positioned them better for the regular season. But again, like we've been talking about it all episode. I think the Warriors' fastball is probably just about as high as anybody's.
Yeah.
And so the question is, I
don't know that they can throw that fastball.
Can you manage the season well enough to get Steph and Draymond and Jimmy Butler like healthy and fresh enough, and I guess Al Horford, although he's just been terrible, healthy enough for the playoffs so that they have the chance to show that fastball? But the problem with that is the Western Conference is so dangerous and so good. But the Lakers have had to do this not last year, but the last few years, and the Warriors have had to do it the last few years, have had to like sprint to the finish to stay out of the play-in or to try to get out of the play-in, or sometimes just get in the playoffs, that you're gassed by the playoffs. So it's a dangerous game the Warriors are playing if they are willing to kind of manage the season and just try to get to the playoffs healthy. Because if you have to sprint to get to the playoffs just to stay out of the play-in or even just to get into the play-in, you're going to be cooked by the time, because you're going to be playing good games every night, good teams every night. You're just going to be cooked by the time the playoffs happen.
It sounds to me like the Warriors, like if we were to continue the pitcher analogy, they aren't a dominant like fastball pitcher. They're Maddox. They have to manage, both sides of the plate, throw changeup, keep batters completely off of their feet. And
except they have the best fastball ever.
Maddox is great.
No, but Maddox was like, it was all precision and junk. Maddox couldn't blow you away, and Steph can just blow you away sometimes.
Well, sure, but Maddox also was capable. Like Maddox, for stretches of one of the most dominant eras in pitching history, was like right there in that group with Randy Johnson and with Pedro, with all those guys. It's like Steph is pretty damn good, and I think Maddox is pretty. The reason I say Maddox is because he operated with so little margin for error, and I think that the Warriors this season are operating with so little margin for error. Whereas, like, you compare like what Randy Johnson was capable to. If Randy Johnson's up there throwing a 98 mile an hour fastball,
even if he doesn't have his best stuff, right?
Yeah, like he could miss on occasion. But if Maddox missed his spot, it's being hit to torrents, So
yeah.
And that's why like the Warriors, when they don't have their stuff, when they haven't been at their best this season, they've looked pretty beatable. They've been beaten to torrents.
They definitely have.
The other team that's been beaten to torrents plenty this year is the Clippers. They look bad. Honestly,
the Clippers just look bad.
Yeah,
the Warriors this is weird. The Clippers are like, no, this is just bad.
Yeah, I honestly, like, again, with my tiers, you could have convinced me to put them in a tier below and not have them group with the Warriors, and like
I'm not even sure they're grouped with Minnesota. They're just bad.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Minnesota first then, and then
let's do Minnesota, because you had Minnesota above. Yeah, let's talk about Minnesota.
Oh yeah. I just realized I skipped over Minnesota. So Minnesota to me, I didn't think enough was made of the fact that they were losing Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Like he hasn't really even been that incredible in Atlanta, but seeing as Minnesota's identity was built off of defense last year, and having like if you got past their first layer of defense, you were off balance going up against the best rim protector that the league has ever seen in Rudy Gobert. But now you have guys going by that first layer of defense, and they're on balance going up against Gobert, and he's not mobile enough to contest when he also has to move. So to me, like Minnesota's defense has taken such a huge step back, and I don't think they're good enough offensively to make up for it.
Yeah, so their defense took a step back last year. 2 years ago it was one of the best defenses ever. It took a step back last year. Cat for Julius kind of had something to do with that. But this year, losing Walker, and McDaniels hasn't been great yet. And Rudy looks like he's lost a little something off his fastball. And, because of the aging of Conley and, a little bit of erosion, it looks like Anthony Edwards has to carry too much on offense so that he is not fully able to engage defensively, which happens a lot around the league, right? Your best offensive engine, your best offensive player, you don't expect them to be able to do it on the other end also. He looks like, he was already hurt a little bit. He came back and looked okay, but I think he is having to carry so much of an offensive burden for them because they just don't have other guys that are going to generate offense. Julius can some. Dante DiVincenzo is playing point guard. He's like a movement shooter. He can dribble kind of, but he's not going to generate offense. Rudy obviously is not going to do anything. McDaniels is, like attack a closeout guy. So they just don't have enough offensive creation at all yet. And so much of that is reliant on Ant, who's one of the best in the league at it, that he just doesn't have the energy to guard every night. And so, like, a great example of it, you saw, Austin's game winner in Minnesota the other day. It was like a weird sort of trap, but not really. And like, Austin just very easily split the trap, and there was nobody. I mean, it's just like, and Rudy was flat-footed. Like, it was just weird. And I don't know why you don't trap him and make somebody else beat you, because the Lakers didn't have anybody else that could dribble. So I don't know why you just let Austin, who's cooking everybody, just whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, just don't let him catch the ball. It was
right,
crazy how easy it was for him to catch the ball.
Or even to catch it, like, you blitz him. If there's that pick, you just blitz him and make him throw the ball to somebody else with 2 seconds left and have somebody else beat you. So they just seem kind of off. There's just like, and they weren't that good last year. I mean, they made the conference finals again, but they had a weird, not great regular season last year. So I just think they're kind of mediocre on offense and defense. I think this is just kind of who they are at this point.
My concern with them coming into the season is that, like, they were basically relying on Anthony Edwards to continue to care about defense. But as superstars get deeper and deeper and deeper into their career, the focus becomes offensive. And especially seeing as they don't have any other engines, like you're talking about,
right. Yeah.
That like asking Ant to be like Michael Jordan is tough, like asking him to be Kobe, where Kobe was an engine and also their best point of attack defender. That's a really difficult ask for people. And then like McDaniels, right? I think also like he's getting to that stage of his career where he's starting to care a little bit more about offense. And I think his defense is kind of slipping as a result of it. And there isn't any like young, hungry guy who can step in and keep the elite on defense.
Yeah, they need Naz Reid. Offensively, they need Naz Reid, but he just got paid. And he's gonna. I mean, like, offensively, they need him. Defensively, it's a mess.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer is for them. They don't have asset. They don't have, the war chest is pretty barren there. There's not a lot that they can do to go get somebody else.
I thought of them as a John Morant team.
I mean, let me be careful here. How about this? Minnesota needs somebody who can dribble. How about that?
Yeah.
Minnesota needs somebody who can dribble.
So my reasoning for it is, now, ideally, Memphis would have done this back when they still had Bane on their team. I thought they traded the wrong guard over the summer. But my
pushback against that is that Bane's market was significantly better than Ja's.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So they traded the right guy to get stuff back.
Yeah, but if they could basically trade Ja, because like you said, Minnesota doesn't really have a ton in terms of like,
Minnesota has nothing.
well, in terms of like your traditional trades, right? Like they would have to dip into their rotation to trade for a Ja, right? So if you could trade McDaniels and and stuff for Ja and get him back.
Yeah, but what stuff?
I don't know. Like
McDaniels makes less than half as much as Ja.
No, I know, but I'm saying McDaniels is like on par with a top tier draft pick, right? Like I would have him.
You could get a first for him, yeah.
Yeah, and so like, and I mean like a high first, right? You could
you could get a first for him. I don't know how high, but you could get a first for him, yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think some trade package there that would send Ja to Minnesota would be interesting. The other one that I thought about recently, because they were talking about Ja on ESPN, was Mike Malone going and coaching Memphis. I think that'd be interesting. Because I think they're gonna wind up firing this Salo guy.
I mean, he's like 9 games into his coaching career.
It was stupid that they didn't have a coaching search. Like it was just really
people
dumb.
are asking about. No, I have not. I have not left the Lakers. No. People are asking about that. No, I have not.
My other concern with Minnesota is like, I don't think you can afford to be stale in this league. And it's been the same core, same coach, a couple of years running, same ceiling, unfortunately. Where they're like, they bump up against it. They get to the conference finals a couple of times in a row.
That's not nothing, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, when you bump up against the ceiling with the same core and you actually lost pieces from your team. Mm-hmm. How do you break through the ceiling there? And it would require a greater leap of Ant than I think even he is capable of.
Yeah, I mean, that had to be what it was, right? Because they couldn't really go after, maybe obviously the cap situation there being what it was, and the draft pick situation there being what it was. It was that, and hoping that Rob Dillingham, who they spent some ammunition on in the previous draft and didn't play at all last year, hasn't played a ton this year either. But that is the hope, I guess. I think that the problem, I mean, there is some stagnation. I think that they got sort of, I don't want to say fortunate, but I don't think they were a Western Conference. I don't think they were the second best team in the West the last 2 years to begin with.
Yeah, they lucked out in that Denver and OKC were on the same side of the bracket.
So I think teams can, I mean, it's hard in that situation, right? Because like, if you're honest about it, you can say we're probably not good enough. But then the reality is we're pretty close, right? If you make the conference finals 2 years in a row, it's hard not to think, hey, this is like kind of good. Like we're onto something here. And we just need to build. But yeah, to your point, the cap situation being what it was, they've some of that has eroded, combined with Mike Conley just isn't Mike Conley anymore, combined with Rob Dillingham has not taken any step forward. And yeah, they're in a strange spot, and I think it gets worse before it gets better. If it gets better at all, I think it's just, I don't know what they do. I think they're kind of stuck. I mean, they barely, by the way, even last year, they barely made the playoffs last year.
Yeah. I think what they do eventually is break up the Ant, Gobert, Randall, Reed core. I mean, one of those guys got to go.
Who?
I don't know. I'm just saying. You're saying you said it's going to get worse before better.
I mean, you're not getting anything for Gobert. Like, you're just not getting anything for Rudy Gobert. So
you're not going to get 7 picks for Rudy Gobert.
You're not getting anything for Rudy Gobert. So Julius, yeah, You can get a little bit. You can get a little bit for
Yeah.
Julius. Naz Reid looks to be slightly overpaid in this economy. So I don't know. I don't know that you can get much for Naz Reid. I like Naz Reid. I think he's a good player, but I don't know how much you can get for him. Like the only one that really has any value is Ant, and you're not trading Ant. So I think they're kind of stuck.
How much is Reid making?
25 now. 20.
That's a lot for
20 and 20. He just signed a new deal somewhere between 20.
No.
They chose him and extending Randall instead of Nikhil.
I don't think I would have made that choice personally. We got it. As we get further down the list, we don't got to spend as much time on these teams. But the Clippers, I think they're just old. That's my analysis of them. They're just too old. When I heard going into the season that they're older than that really old LeBron, Melo, Dwight team, I was like, oh, they're old. It gets older. You can be older than that. And I just don't think you can afford to be that old in today's NBA.
I think I actually like their offseason, but it doesn't. It just, they're old. Bradley Beal, there isn't some like revelation with Bradley Beal because he's on the team that can win. Like Bradley Beal still looks like, like you're a rotation guy, I guess. Sure, Bradley Beal's fine. Yeah. John Collins hasn't done much. Brook Lopez hasn't done much. Zoo still looks incredible. Zoo might be the best player on the team, actually. I mean, Kawhi's the best player on the team, and Harden, who was excellent last year, he's been okay this year. It's just like the pieces somehow are less than the sum of the parts. It's just, there's something just off there. I don't know if, all the
aspiration.
Pablo Torre reporting and Kawhi allegations and Ballmer allegations. I mean, that can't be good. I don't know if it's
and now lawsuits.
Right. Yeah. And the people from Aspiration have sued Ballmer. I don't know that that's affecting him. But if it is, it can't be good. So
here's what I would say. I bet they would prefer that wasn't a thing going into the season. Like, I don't think there's any other team that's like, man, I really wish we had aspirations.
Right. I don't know.
Convention.
I don't know if it's bad, but it certainly ain't good. They just look, and like, I don't, there was this thought that they were just going to have like this kind of hockey approach, with line changes where they had like a solid second five that was like, had a few NBA level starters in it, and there's just, you have 10 or 11 or 12 just good NBA players, and that wins during the regular season. But the top, 2, 3, 4 guys haven't been good enough to let you just have, 6 or 7 more kind of good-ish NBA players. Batum, my guy Nick Batum from back in my Portland days, is not doing a ton. Brook Lopez looks old. CP3 looks more washed than Al Horford. Like it's I mean, look, for them it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same thing as the Warriors, with just maybe not the same ceiling. Is you have to hope you can limp your way to the playoffs. Ceiling. Yeah, but you hope we can limp. Well, I mean, Kawhi Leonard is has been pretty damn good enough.
I'm not letting anybody do this anymore. Like he's always hurt. We can't go in.
He's not Steph.
Kawhi's pretty good when he's healthy, but he's never healthy.
He's not, and even when he is healthy, he's not Steph. Fine.
Yeah.
But the hope is you get, and Harden's playoff record is what it is. But that's the hope, is you get those guys to the playoffs, and let's see, you roll the dice. Maybe this is the year that they're healthy and Harden doesn't defecate all over himself in any game that matters in the playoffs. But again, I'm worried about them like just being in the mix enough, because they're just not very good.
Yeah.
There's nothing for them to, we've talked about fastball. There's like nothing for them to hang their hat on so far. Yeah. Like, I don't know what they do other than give the ball to James and like let him try to cook, and then like mid-post Kawhi, and hopefully he's having one of those nights. I don't know what they do.
Their fastball is cap circumvention. I think they're better at that than anything that this team is at doing anything on the court.
I see everybody's asking me, what's good, Kevin? Everybody, RoboCop now has asked me twice about what I think of. I don't know. I think there's a ton of smoke If you made me guess, I think that something untoward
Is that smoke
probably
white
happened.
because they're burning live trees?
I think that I think that something. How about this? Here's what I'll say about it. I think that the Clippers have a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I can't think of a good answer for any of them. So I don't know. I also don't think anything's going to happen anytime soon. So,
Well, definitely not until after the All-Star break. Which, Aaron, where are they playing that game at? I'm trying to remember.
Here in
Is it at the Aspiration Dome?
It is here in Los Angeles,
but not at Crypto. It's at the other one.
Oh, not presently, no. At present,
that would be the funniest fucking thing.
No, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, like, and to be fair, like, I don't think it's about that specifically for the NBA. I think it's that these.
I don't think it's
things.
not though. Like,
well, no, I don't think the NBA wants to have to like make that decision. Kind of like I don't think the NBA wants to have to be faced with what do we do about Kawhi's contract and voiding it and whatever, if that's even a possibility. But to be fair to the NBA, like these sort of investigations take months and months and months and months and months, if not years, just even in the best of circumstances. So I don't think the NBA is upset about not having to do anything about this, in the near term, but I also don't think that they're hiding behind it. I think it's reasonable that plus all the lawyers want to bill all the extra hours. So
I don't know.
And plus, you know what? The NBA now has another thing like that has kind of put the aspiration stuff sort of on the back burner for now and out of the public consciousness.
Did you ever watch Veep?
I've heard of it, but no.
All right, so Veep. There's a
now
scene.
I sound like Raj. Like
yeah.
Veep?
Well, there's a scene at the beginning of Veep where like the main character does something really dumb. The main character is a vice president of the United States, and she says something really dumb in this like presser. And her emergency PR task force group or whatever, like they come together and she's like, all right, how do I get out of this? And one of the other guys comes over and he goes, well, Tom Hanks could die. And
okay.
and the point there being is like, we could just wait for the next big thing to happen. And so for the league, they could be like
we'll just
what do
push
we do
this
about this
aside
aspiration thing?
Yeah.
We could have a gambling scandal.
Yeah, we'll get another scandal in 10 days. Everybody be patient. Yeah, I mean, look, everybody deserves the presumption of innocence, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah,
there's a lot of questions.
I would even go so far as to say there's the flicker of flame.
There's
a
lot of questions to be answered.
Like I remember there was a big fire where I was growing up in somebody from Orange County, let me know what year it was. I think it was like 2012, maybe 2010.
Okay, the internet knows the answer to this. I'm gonna look.
But there was a big fire in Yorba Linda, and it stretched across basically all of Orange County. And I remember I like that night, the whole city shut down because people were evacuated out of their houses and stuff. And I drove over to Jen's parents' house because they backed right up to the hillside.
It's looking like November 15th to November 25th of 2008, according to the internet.
Okay, yeah, and that sounds right. So I drove over to Jen's parents' house because their house backed right up to the hill where these flames were just rushing through, and I'll never forget looking at the hillside. It's like, okay, I can obviously there's a ton of smoke. Holy fuck, that's a flame. And that's and like that's kind of where I'm at with aspiration, where it's like you're kind of peering over the hillside. Yeah, there's a lot of smoke. Whoa, there's a flame. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not good. It is not I mean, right, the evidence presented so far does not paint a rosy picture of the proceedings between those entities. No.
So the last tier that we talked about, the Clippers and the Warriors and Minnesota also grouped in there. I think those are 2 or 3 teams that are kind of on the decline. The next couple of teams that I want to talk about are the Spurs and the Blazers, both of which I think are on the rise. I like where both of these teams are going. Obviously, Spurs with Wemby and stuff, but I actually really like what Portland's building, not taking into account Chauncey Billups being engulfed in his own.
Why did you using golf after just talking about that's out of pocket. That is out of pocket. Nah, I'm not riding with that. I'm not riding with that.
I'm just saying, man. There's a lot of flames around that one too.
I ain't riding with that.
So, like, what do you think the league cares more about? Like, obviously, they don't really care about the poker ring thing, but him just like telling people, "Yeah, we're tanking," like that. That incriminates Cronin. That incriminate like.
No, I don't think it does. No, I don't think
it can. I would have questions if I were the league. Why? Is that when Billups tells somebody, "Hey, we're tanking," the implication is that like, or the follow-up question to it is, all right, are you at the head of those tanking efforts, or were you told that we're tanking?
Well, hold on. Tanking is allowed. There's nothing wrong with tanking in the NBA. Everybody does it. You're not supposed to say you're not supposed to like tell the media you're tanking. But Joe Cronin saying, "Hey, like, let's do the rotation this way because there isn't much incentive for us to win, a bunch of games down the stretch here." There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's like I wish the NBA could figure out a solution so that people were incentivized to win. But yeah, you can't say you're tanking, but you're allowed to tank.
But he did.
No, but he didn't say it publicly. He said it to his boy, I guess.
Right.
Allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly. Yeah, I don't think it implicates anybody but Chauncey, really.
I think Cronin's going to have to answer for it. Like he's like that's a question. Like they didn't even hold a press conference over it. And my top question would have been like, "Hey, did you tell them that they're tanking or that they're losing on purpose?"
But why? Where does it say he can't do that? But my question is like, what is against the rules of a GM telling his coach like, okay, like let's not win these last 4 games?
They literally fined the Mavericks for not having Luka available for it.
But that's a different. That's a player participation thing.
Yeah, but the point of him not participating was to lose on purpose. Of course, the league doesn't want it out there.
The league doesn't want it out there, but the NBA doesn't care about that so much. They care about not effing the TV product. That's why they care about the player participation and guys being available. No, I don't like if you know that they're tanking and you as long as you don't mention it publicly, like the league doesn't want to acknowledge there's tanking, but there's no rule against a GM telling a coach like, "Hey, let's like we don't need to win those last."
Focus on the young guys.
We don't. Yeah, right. Can we play like what with OKC doing? Like, can we play Pokashevsky, like a 7'1" dude that has never played point? Let's play him at point guard.
Dude needs his jersey retired.
Or Jeremy Sohan playing point guard for the Spurs 2 years. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe he's our point guard of the future.
All of the Jazz veterans would sit out entire fourth quarters last year.
Yeah. No, so that there's a problem with. Like, if you're playing guys and then you're just like, oof, well, like, John Collins has some mystery foot something. Well, he was fine in the first half, just not now.
And he's going to play tomorrow.
Lauri Markkanen may or may not be on this planet anymore. I don't know. But like a GM going to tell a coach like, "Hey, like let's play the young guys or let's reduce so-and-so's minutes." There's nothing wrong with that. Chauncey, yes, all of it. Chauncey, yes, fine. But I think the league does have to care about the poker stuff because that is like plainly illegal, like against the law. Like telling your boy like I don't think because there's plausible deniability.
And that they don't really care about it.
But there's plausible deniability for Chauncey, right? He can say like, I was just having a conversation with my boy, like, "Oh shit, I don't think we're gonna play Dame tonight." Like, Chauncey could even be lamenting that fact. Fine, he has plausible deniability there. Whether you think it's reasonable or not is a different question. But he could at least say that. With the poker games thing, if it's true, like first of all, it's against federal law. And second of all, like there's no plausible deniability there. Like, what is he going to say? I didn't know the games were rigged? Sure.
Yeah.
I guess so, man.
I don't even like to wear contacts. But yeah, no, let's talk about the Spurs and the Blazers. Both teams, their defenses really impressed me.
But I think it's good to group them because I don't think either of their offenses is good enough yet to, be a threat to any of the teams we've mentioned previously, other than maybe Minnesota.
Yeah. And then the other groups are the other teams that I have here, the remaining tiers, the Grizzlies and the Mavericks. I have them in the messy tier. They are just all kinds of mess. I don't think either of those teams are going anywhere.
Not good.
And then the tanking teams, you have the Jazz, Pelicans, who shouldn't be tanking because they traded away their pick, but
No, they're not tanking.
Not on purpose.
The Pels are not tanking. They're just awful.
Yeah, not on purpose.
They're not
Kings are in
tanking.
that same group, right? They aren't tanking on purpose, but they're going to suck. And then the Suns are not going to be very good.
The Suns have been, you know, you have here like positive surprises. The Blazers have been better than I thought. The Suns have been a little better than I thought they would be. They like sort of are
just
competent.
Because of where your expectations were, though?
Yeah, positive surprise. Yeah, they've been a little better than I thought. I think I think Dallas is the biggest disappointment. I think Dallas is. It is.
So
it's bad.
They're another team where I was like,
bad.
I didn't understand why anybody had any expectations of a team whose only creative engine was D'Angelo Russell. Like, I don't know why anybody thought that like Cooper Flagg could play point guard. Do you know how hard it is to play point guard in the NBA?
I mean, that is a reasonable thought to have and appears to be correct. I mean, the biggest way to lose games in the NBA is to play young guards. Now, if you're going to play a young power forward who's never played point guard in his life at point guard, that's probably not going to be a recipe for success. But I mean, they have the Mavs are strange because they have too many good players to be like this. However, their roster construction is so hideous that of course they were going to be like this.
Right. Well, they have a bunch of good players in that, like, if you and I were to design out a meal and put a bunch of good proteins on the plate, it wouldn't be a plate. It would just be a smorgasbord of protein.
That sounds delicious.
Sure, but
that
like,
sounds delicious. And you know I'm on keto, so that's exactly what I need.
No, but like
the keto math.
Like, all right, I'm gonna put.
Like AD is always hurt. Like Lively's always hurt. Like,
well, so AD looked chubby, which is so ironic. But AD looked chubby in the offseason, and then he strained his calf. Do you know why? Because he was chubby. So,
I mean, the only pleasant surprise.
Before everybody jumps in here, I know I also look chubby, but I am not paid $1 zillion to play center for the Dallas Mavericks.
He would tell you he's a power forward. I in an interesting twist of fate, shall we? I think the only guy who has kind of looked good there, Cooper Flagg's been okay, but the only guy who's looked good, Max, has been the only guy who's been like a pleasant surprise there. Max has played well. That's about it. D'Lo's had his moments too, but Clay has been awful.
People are saying like, can the Lakers get Clay? And it's like, why? You know,
I love
he
Clay,
would be better for the Lakers because they have guys who can create shots for him. But
yeah, I mean, how crazy was it? How crazy is it for Clay that like, well, you leave the Warriors because you don't want the bench role. Right now, he's coming off the bench for Dallas, but you go to Dallas to get spoon-fed open threes by Clay and Kyrie Irving, and now
by Luka and Kyrie Irving.
I mean, sorry, by Luka and Kyrie Irving, and now. Clay, can you dribble? I guess I don't know. You want to play point guard? I don't know.
No, he literally set a record for fewest dribbles in a half.
He scored 60 points on dribbled the ball 11 times.
So I think Clay. Look, man, and he has better things to focus on in his personal life. Like, go do you, man. You got it good away from the basketball court. Just focus on that.
Clay has always had it good away from the basketball court. Let me assure you.
Yeah, but especially good now.
Oh, that's your flavor.
Is she not anybody's flavor?
Have we told Jen this or no?
What?
Your affinity for Clay's girlfriend. I don't know that I need to mention her, but. Everybody can do their research if they haven't looked yet.
Who doesn't have an affinity for Meg Thee Stallion? Who doesn't have it? Like,
I mean,
I don't know. There might be people. They're called psychopaths, but
or racists. Yeah. One of the two, or maybe both. By the way, maybe both.
Yeah, or they play for a different team. Like, that's also fine. You know,
absolutely.
Not judging that either.
That would be my favorite.
That'd be a better explanation than the other one.
That would be my favorite reason of the three.
All right. So I don't really feel the need to talk about the other teams there. Other than like, had they not traded away their pick, I think the Pelicans would be an interesting team to keep an eye on. if and when they blow it up.
Had they not traded their pick or traded back the Pacers pick, during last finals, they should have two. They should have 2 lottery picks this year. They should have 2. They should have their own and the Pacers. They could have 2 top 5 picks this year in another loaded draft.
Joe Dumars was basically like NBA Doge. It's crazy how quickly that blew up.
Didn't go. All
right, so positive surprises for me, it's the Lakers. I think they're the biggest surprise for me is that they had the kind of underwhelming preseason and training camp. Guys were in and out. That is extended into the regular season, and it hasn't mattered. Now they don't have an overwhelming point differential, but they're winning close games and they are racking up wins while they get guys healthy. And I think whenever LeBron comes back, that point differential is going to swing even higher. And I don't know, if somebody wanted to tell me, I saw this guy's comment earlier, I don't flex me on entertainment. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting off this video. The fact they put Houston in a tier by themselves above the Lakers is wild. Y'all enjoy it. It's okay.
That was me. One, that was not Anthony. That was me.
I didn't do that. And then 2, I would if somebody wanted to sit here and really convince me that the Lakers belong in that upper tier or in a tier with Houston. I already have them in a tier with Houston, but a spot above Houston, I would also listen to that, because I do think that the Lakers, by the time we get to April, I think the Lakers will finish the season as a top 2 half-court offense. And they also are going to rebound well enough to where they can get out and run sparingly and be really efficient in transition when they do get out. So
I disagree with that part. I don't think the Lakers are going to play at a fast pace.
No, I don't think they will. I'm saying, remember the couple, I think it was
you're saying they're going to run sparingly.
Team? The 2019-2020 team where they didn't run a ton, but whenever they did run, they scored. So they didn't run very much, but when they ran, they had, they were scoring 1.5 points per possession.
Fair. I just don't think the Lakers are going. I do think the Lakers will rebound well enough, especially because as sort of perimeter players / guards, LeBron, Austin, and Luka are all very good rebounders.
Yeah,
better than the front court guys. But all 3 of them, Austin runs a little bit, but Luka and LeBron are just not gonna. They're just not gonna run. They're gonna play slow and dissect in the half court. That's what they've both always done. But you can get Austin to run a little bit, but he's more of a half court guy too. But you can get him to run a little bit.
Rui's been doing that run and seal thing.
He has. And by the way, also shout out. This is one of the reasons I'm concerned about the Spurs. But shout out Rui. He did a good job on Wemby, who has not looked good the last couple games because he's getting double teamed and there's no shooting around him.
Yeah.
So to answer the question. Again, look, the Rockets' point differential, as you mentioned, and the Rockets' offense is one of the best ever so far. They are a pleasant. I wouldn't call them a surprise.
Too,
yeah, I wouldn't call them a surprise so much, but it has been good, confirmation that their offense has still been excellent without really a true point guard. So that's why that, and as I said before, that and the fact that I had them slightly ahead of the Lakers before the season is why I still have them there. But I think probably the Lakers have a higher playoff ceiling.
The negative surprise,
Dallas.
I wasn't expecting anything from Dallas. I'd say maybe
were you expecting them to be? Were you expecting them?
Warriors.
Minnesota.
I would have the Warriors there,
but
like you said,
Dallas is last in the West. I'm not saying
I guess
Dallas was going to be good, but
do you see they have the worst offense relative to
ever in the history of ever. Since Dr. Naismith invented the game, in the history of ever.
Since Peach Baskets,
yeah.
They have the worst.
Yeah, what's the video? Is it George Mikan? Maybe they have old black and white videos where there's a white guy holding the ball above his head and walking around, and they have all these little dudes trying to take the ball from him. Yeah, since that they have the worst offense ever.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, no,
Aaron,
Dallas is the answer. Dallas is the answer.
this has been, I just realized, I looked up, this flew by as it
Oh.
always does when we get together, and we are an hour and a half in. So I'm going to go ahead and end this thing here and let you enjoy the rest of your Friday. This has been a blast, man. Hopefully we can do more of these here moving forward.
I'll be back.
We got to get unnamed cognac in here to sponsor your appearances specifically. And
on my head, I'll be back.
And it's been a lot of fun. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. All of the good buttons. If you haven't already, check out yesterday's episode with Jason Concepcion and Shay Serrano. Those were two fun conversations that we had.
Oh, look at you!
Yes.
Why are you having me on? Look at you moving up in the world. You don't need me. You got some heavy hitters. You got some real folks.
Like
you got some real brown folks.
It was funny. I had technically speaking, Jason is a colleague of mine at Offside, you know, so it was like, so I was able to, we were able to talk about that. So that was how that happened. And then Shay's selling his book, and I lucked out and got him to be on the show for that. But yeah, check out that conversation, and then have a great rest of your weekend. Make somebody else's, and I will talk to you again on Sunday. How we going, everybody?